Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to another first grade virtual summer video lesson with Mrs. Maldonado. We have a 2D and 3D math lesson that we're going to review. So let's get started with our math lesson. Okay, and we are going to review what two-dimensional shapes are and what three-dimensional shapes are. So two-dimensional shapes are flat. As you can see, we can draw a two-dimensional shape. And boys and girls, when we refer to as two-dimensional shape, it's the same thing as 2D. Okay, the number 2 for 2 and then the D for dimensional. Then we have three-dimensional shapes stand up on their own. So if we can see that someone is holding a gift in their hand, so it can stand on its own. It's not flat. And when we hear three-dimensional, we can also connect that to 3D. So it's the same thing. Three-dimensional, 3D. This circle is flat. It is a two-dimensional shape. So it is a flat shape, something that we can draw. This globe stands up. It is a three-dimensional shape. So therefore, someone can hold it in their hand and it can stand on its own. So this is 2D and this is 3D. So now we are going to sort the shapes. We are going to put the two-dimensional shapes on this side, and we're going to put the three-dimensional shapes on this side. Okay, the first shape that we have is a megaphone. Okay, so we have it's shaped of a cone. So we know that a cone is a 3D shape. Therefore, this is going to go here, and I can actually draw it for you. Remember, this three-dimensional means 3D. Two-dimensional means 2D. Okay, so now we have a cube. A cube, well, this is actually a dice. So a dice is shaped as a cube, so that makes it a three-dimensional shape. I am going to draw this shape for you here. Okay, it's we're connecting all the corners, and that is a 3D shape. Next, we have a triangle. Okay, a triangle. This is a flat shape, so it is a two-dimensional shape or a 2D. Okay, it's just a triangle. You cannot hold a triangle, just a drawing on your hand like that. It is flat. It does not stand up on its own, in other words. Okay, then we have a picture of a dot card. Something that is flat. It is a two-dimensional shape because it is something flat. Okay, it is not like a cube. It is just a square. So we have two-dimensional shapes and we have two three-dimensional shapes of the objects that we have here. Okay, we are going to sort more shapes. Two-dimensional is the same as what? Yes, it is the same as 2D. Three-dimensional is the same as what? Correct, it's the same as 3D. Okay, remember 2D are flat shapes, shapes you can draw. And three-dimensional shapes are shapes that can stand on their own or something that you can hold on your hand. Hold in your hand. Okay, the first object that we have here is a basketball. So a basketball, as we know, it is shaped like a sphere. Okay, so that would be a three-dimensional shape. The next shape that we have here is a circle. It resembles a ring. So it's something flat. It's not something that stands on its own. So therefore, it is a two-dimensional shape. The next thing that we see here is a delicious donut. Okay, can we hold a donut in our hand? Yes, we can. Probably not for too long because we'll probably eat it, right? but we can hold it in our hand. So it's not a flat shape. So therefore it is a three-dimensional object. Okay. The next thing that we have here is a circle. It is a flat shape, something that we can draw. It does not stand up on its own. So therefore that is a 2D, or in other words, a two-dimensional shape. Okay, we're going to sort more shapes, sort the shapes. Two-dimensional is the same as 2D. Three-dimensional is the same as 3D. Okay, so the first thing that we see here is a heart. It is just a flat shape, okay? It's not something we can hold in our hand. It's just a flat shape, something we can draw. So that makes it a two-dimensional shape. Okay, so it's just a heart. You see? Okay, the next thing that we see here is actually two shapes, boys and girls. It is a triangle within a circle. But even though it's two shapes, it's still does not stand on its own, and it's still not something that we can hold in our hand. So therefore it is a two-dimensional shape. So something we can draw. Okay. There we go, a circle with a triangle. Okay, and next we have a heart-shaped box here. So it's something that we can hold. Remember, one of the examples was a gift box. Well, this is the same thing. The only difference is the shape. Okay, so with something that we can hold, it is three-dimensional or 3D. Okay, remember the globe that someone was holding in their hand? So therefore the ball is the same shape. So therefore it is 3D or three-dimensional. Okay, let's move right along to our next page. And we have a question to answer. Is a globe two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Remember, two-dimensional means 2D and three-dimensional means 3D. Well, let's find out and see. We have the two illustrations here of two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So two-dimensional, this is the 2D, and three-dimensional, this is the 3D. So we want to know what the globe is. Is it a 2D or is it a 3D shape? Well, let's read what a 2D shape is. Two-dimensional shapes are flat. You can draw them on a piece of paper. Okay, and what is a three-dimensional shape? Well, three-dimensional shapes stand up. You can hold them in your hands. So can we hold a globe in our hands, boys and girls? Yes, we can, because we can actually see an illustration of somebody holding the globe in their hand. Therefore, the globe is three-dimensional. Okay, so the globe is a three-dimensional shape. Is this a plane shape or a solid shape? So when we refer to a plane shape, boys and girls, it could be a flat shape, or we could also refer to it as 3D. Or a solid shape could be also referred to as 3D. So if we look at this shape, does it look like a circle to you, like this? Or does it look more like a sphere to you? Like maybe it could roll. Well, if you think it is a solid shape, you are correct. It is something that you can hold in your hand or something that can stand on its own. So therefore, it's a solid shape. Is this shape two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Remember, two-dimensional is also referred to as 2D, and three-dimensional is also referred to as 3D. So if we look at this shape, boys and girls, this shape resembles a cone. And we've learned that a cone stands on its own because this bottom piece here is actually a flat surface where it can stand upright, which is basically the same thing as this object here. If I draw the base of it or the face, therefore it is a three-dimensional shape. Okay, next we have, is this shape two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Okay, so we are going to check, is it something that we can draw or is it something that can stand on its own? Well, let's check and see. If it's just a circle and then a circle within a circle, or it could be a ring, it doesn't stand on its own, okay? And therefore it would be 2D and this would be 3D. So it would be a 2D. It's a flat shape, something that we can draw. Is this shape two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Remember, two-dimensional or 2D is something that we can draw, a shape that is flat, okay? And a three-dimensional is something that we can hold in our hand or something that can stand on its own. So in this case, boys and girls, it is a flat shape. So therefore, it is a 2D or two-dimensional shape. Is this shape two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Okay, remember two-dimensional we refer to as 2D. Three-dimensional we refer as 3D. Okay, so this dice looks like or resembles a cube, and we've learned that a cube is a 3D shape. Therefore, the die is a 3D shape. So it's three-dimensional. Okay, now we are going to sort the shapes. We have plane shapes, okay, so 2D shapes, and then we have solid shapes or 3D shapes. Okay, the first object that we have here, the first shape is a square. So that is a flat shape, so therefore it is a plane shape. The next thing that we see here is a circle. It is also a flat shape, therefore it is a plane shape. The next thing that we see here is a gift, okay, or a present. We are going to draw what it resembles. So it is a cube, and we know that that is a solid shape. So this would go with the 3D shapes. Then the last object that we have here to sort is an ornament. Okay, so we have a sphere, okay, and that is a solid shape or a 3D shape. Okay, we have more shapes to sort. Okay, sort the shapes. Plane shapes, remember, we refer to as 2D. Solid shapes we refer to as 3D. Okay, the first thing that we see here is a pie chart. So that is something flat, something that we draw. Okay, so that would be a plane shape. Next, we see a beach ball. A beach ball is something we can actually hold in our hand, something that can stand on its own. So that would be a solid shape or a 3D shape. The next thing that we see here is a can of chicken noodle soup or chicken soup. Okay, and it stands on its own. We learned that it is a cylinder, so that is a 3D shape or a solid shape. The last thing that we see here is a toilet paper roll, and we've learned that it resembles a cylinder, and we've learned that a cylinder is also a 3D shape. All right, so we've sorted all of those shapes. We only found one plane shape, okay, which is the pie graft, and all of the others were solid shapes or 3D shapes. Okay, so we have more shapes to sort. Remember, plane shapes, 2D, solid shapes, 3D. Okay, the first thing that we see here is a square, and we see a square within a square, so it's something that we can draw. Okay, so that makes it a plane shape. The next thing that we see is a construction cone. A construction cone, boys and girls, is a 3D shape or a solid shape because we can see that it stands on its own. Okay, the next thing that we see is a triangle. So we can easily draw a triangle, and therefore that is a plane shape or a 2D shape. The last thing that we see here is a pyramid of cubes. So these cubes, we know we've learned that cubes are 3D shapes. So those are solid shapes. They would go with the solid shapes. Okay, so now boys and girls, I have a fun activity for you where you are going to learn how to draw these 3D shapes that we have been learning about. So if you would like to join us for this fun activity, I need for you to get something to write with, a piece of paper. You can perhaps use a pencil just in case if you make a mistake. You can erase it. Or if you want to use a marker, a crayon, or whatever you have available, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so I am going to start the video. And remember, boys and girls, if it goes a little too fast for you, you can pause the video, or you can watch the video through and watch what they do and then watch it again so you can draw them. Okay, so they can help you draw. And so this is how to draw 3D shapes. Okay, boys and girls, so let's get started. So whenever our teacher asks us to draw 3D shapes, we'll know how.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to draw three-dimensional shapes, and yes, I'm using Sharpie, but I recommend you start in pencil so you can erase if you make a mistake. Now the first one we're going to make is a cube. And to make a cube, there's actually two different ways I'm going to show you. The first one is a solid cube, which means it's three-dimensional and it's not see-through. So you start with a square, and then you're going to draw diagonal up and to the right, diagonal up and to the right, and diagonal up and to the right. They all need to go up the same way and be about the same length. Then I'm going to go from here to here, make sure it's perfectly horizontal, and if I need to match my lines up, that's okay. And this one is going to be perfectly vertical, straight up and down. And there I have my cube. Now the other way is you're going to start out with a square, just like the first one. And then you're going to go up a little and over a little, and you're going to draw another square. So then up and to the right, making sure it's about the same size. And then you're going to connect from this corner to this corner, this one to this one, here to here, and here to here. So this one is a transparent cube, and this one is a solid cube. Next, we're going to draw a cone. A cone starts off with a capital A, or the top of a triangle. And to make the bottom of a solid cone, you simply make a big smile line that's curved and meets from one edge to the other. If you wanted to make it so that you can see the opening, or a transparent cone, you would start with capital A again. And at the bottom, you would actually draw an oval that connects from one side to the other. Okay, this is like an ice cream cone that's tipped upside down. If I turn it, it looks like an ice cream cone. Next, we're going to draw a pyramid. So a pyramid starts off with a triangle, a full triangle. Then, this one's actually pretty simple. You do a diagonal up, just like with the cube, and you connect from the top to that line. Now, if you wanted to add lines to it, like their pyramids of Egypt, you would draw horizontal lines that go straight across. And these ones, see how these are the same as here? The ones over here would go in that same diagonal direction, starting from the corner of each one. Just like that. Next, we're going to draw a cylinder. I'm going to show you two different ways. The first way is start off with an oval. Then you're going to draw two lines straight down from the very edges of the oval. Then you're going to connect just like we did with a cone with a big curved smile line. This is like a can. The other way you can do a transparent one would be to do an oval, two lines straight down, and then connect with an oval at the bottom. This would be like a see-through can or a glass. Finally, we're going to do a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism is just like a cube, just starts off as a rectangle. And then we do three diagonal lines from this corner, and this corner. And again, notice they all go up and to the right, all about the same length. To finish it, we simply connect straight up and down here, straight side to side here. Thanks for drawing all these shapes with me. I hope you learned how to do some three-dimensional realistic shapes. And remember, you can turn them into objects, just like the pyramid. You could turn things like a rectangular prism into a tissue box, or the cone into an ice cream cone. You can turn the cylinder into a can or a wedge of cheese. You can turn a square to just about anything. So have fun with it, be creative, and keep making art.
All right, boys and girls, so that is the end of our video for today. I hope you've enjoyed all of the fun things that we've learned about 2D shapes and 3D shapes. Until next time.